Hey guys, welcome to Gray, the podcast for those of us who are navigating this complicated world of military life alongside our partners. If you're looking for real conversations, genuine insights, and a community of seasoned mil spouses dedicated to supporting each other through every challenge, especially those WTF moments, and maybe even find a silver lining along the way, here we are. We're going to get real about the highs and lows of military life, share stories, and have candid conversations as we laugh our way through it all. This isn't just a podcast. It's a sanctuary where we can all find connection, strength, and the courage to be ourselves, no matter where the journey takes us. Grab your headphones and settle into our corner of the internet where you're not alone. Let's gather at Gray.
Hey y'all, welcome back. It's another episode of Gather at Gray. We are so happy to have you back. It's Tonya
and Courtney.
And we've got some good stuff happening today. I know last time we were here together, we hit a little bit of everything as per the usual, but one of the fun tangents we went on was about voting and my lost voter registration. This week, we're talking about voting in a much more fun and positive light, and that we're talking about successful military family voting. We're going to talk about some of the challenges that go along with it. We're going to talk about some really great resources. Courtney, how's your voting going this year?
My voting is going phenomenally. I was just talking about, this is my first time getting to walk into town hall, into my little village, and cast a vote in 12 years, I think, was the last time I was able to vote in person. And I was really excited. I live in a bit of a battleground county, and I was just really excited to be able to vote in person. And I was sharing with Tonya that I got a little worried because I've been a mail-in ballot voter for so many years, and I had to call and redo it to be an in-person voter. And then they sent me my voter record and another mail-in ballot, and I got super freaked out because we are still active duty that I wasn't actually registered to vote in person. And so I dadgum called the Board of Elections because I was making sure that I got the sticker. I just want the sticker, but I want my vote to count. I need the Insta moment, right? Yes, I am voting in person, and I am excited, and I am going to bring my children with me so they can experience it, and I'm pumped. I hope you are figuring out how you are going to get there, because we are how many days away? 10 days away?
As of this recording, we're 10 days away. I got to tell you, you guys didn't see my face, but when she said she's going to get the sticker, my face was a little bit jealous because I am voting by mail this year. I've already submitted my vote, mailed it in, got it there, but I did not get a sticker, and I'm a little bit sad about it, but
maybe I'll get you a sticker.
Please do. Send me a sticker. You guys, send me your voting stickers.
Share the sticker.
Well, I will say this. Actually, I won't say that I did not get a sticker. This is actually really great. I did get a sticker. It was just not from the election folks. I got a sticker from our friends at Secure Families Initiative when they were helping me sort out the situation about how to most safely and efficiently get my voter registration in to the state of Tennessee. They helped me out a lot. And so today we have Brandi Jones from Secure Families Initiative here to help you guys figure out how to best get your vote in if you don't know already, what your options are. Brandi, thank you so much for joining us today. Come on in and introduce yourself.
Thank you, Courtney and Tonya. I'm so happy to be here. I'm Brandi Jones. In my professional role, I'm the organizing director at Secure Families Initiative. I'm excited about this role. I create a lot of the programs and also carry a lot of the vision. And for me as a spouse, I'm in my 20th year of being with my spouse who's been serving as a Marine. I'm really grateful that we can talk about these issues. I feel like when I was first a spouse, this wasn't something that we would be doing 20-something years ago, meeting together, virtually all over the world connecting and chatting about these issues that really impact us, such as voting. And that's what Secure Families is really about as well. We're a nonpartisan nonprofit, and we advocate on behalf of our families who are, like we say, directly impacted by decisions from Congress and from DOD and our decision makers. And we are here to provide families a way to get questions answered and also to advocate on their behalf when there is something that is very vital. It's like, especially voting, passing the information, making sure that our families feel like they are able to navigate, because we know this is very complex, our lifestyle in general. And we do that at SFI by centering families of color, those who we know are really historically impacted when it comes to certain issues, especially civil rights issues, and voting is one of those issues. So in that capacity, as organizing director and supporting these efforts in our voting outreach, I'm very proud to be discussing these issues to our community. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And I love that. Yeah, I think I agree with you. I have been married to the Navy for a really long time, I tell you guys, but then you might have a good idea of how old I am. It's older than you think, I promise. And I very distinctly remember the early years in this not being a conversation. I got involved in the importance of voting and navigating how to vote as a military family member, actually through local friends here in the Hampton Roads area, not through military friends. And so I love the work that you guys are doing to really bring military families, families of color, marginalized communities into that and being able to use our voices.
I think it's incredible. I also love how unique Secure Families Initiative is. This organization and all of it, they do the advocacy, the policy. I mean, they are on the Hill, they are at the White House, like they are in it to win it, y'all. When we say they are doing things, they are actively doing things. It is not just an awareness campaign, and it's why we wanted to have Brandi on Gray today, with the election being so close, and allow her to really just share some of what they do, some moments that may be helpful for you, some resources and challenges, how they can help navigate challenges. And also, we think that they are a really vital part to the military community, and we want to promote those organizations that we feel are doing things differently and doing things well. And Secure Families Initiative is one of those things. So, Brandi, we want to give you the floor once again, and just really be able to speak to everyone on how y'all can help, like what you're here for, and y'all do a lot. We know you do a lot, but we're thinking specifically to voting right now, because that is the number one challenge that a lot of people are facing and are frustrated with leading up to November 5th.
Yeah, so some tips. What you got for us, Brandi?
First, I think I should say we do a lot because we are our community. Secure Families Initiative, the reason why we understand our community is because we really represent our community, as we are active duty spouse founded and led, with our staff being members of every branch of service and living all over the country and all over the world. And so we know these issues because we live them as well. And so we do our best to advocate and also to help and to inform our community in real time. Also, we do this year round. So it's really one of our core pillars at Secure Families. And so we're very passionate about this work. And I know that Courtney and Tonya like saying how helpful we've been. And we really appreciate you speaking to that. And we hope that if people do throughout this stage of the election start to incur some issues or difficulties that come up with their voting, their ballot, such as trying to understand, am I registered? Was my ballot received? Or if you come across something like, I saw my name wasn't spelled correctly when I did receive my ballot, things of that nature, we are the home of those questions and concerns. I know for first and foremost, SFI, SecureFamiliesInitiative.org, is going to be a place that you are going to want to save for a place to go to have these answers. Also, we sometimes have to even recommend that our families talk with the Department of Justice about these issues. So having said that, if you are like reaching out to your elections official and you're still not receiving enough information about your ballot, there's also the civilrights.justice.gov, which will allow you to, and they have a toll-free number, and so which will allow you to talk directly with our federal side of the house, which is where we're housed under as families who are military, about the issue you're experiencing when it comes to your vote. We want everyone's vote to count, and we want to make sure that if you are experiencing something, that this is taken very seriously, because as we all know, as those who defend these rights and freedoms, this is as serious as it gets. We're sacrificing our families. Our loved one who has served is willing to sacrifice their life for these rights. So if you find yourself in an instance, please reach out. We have several resources, and we want to be here for our community. And we're doing several different, like Tonya mentioned, several different routes to that. Sometimes it's an amicus brief, which we filed several for some states who have challenged the way we vote, which is our UBCAVA voters or overseas voting, to make sure that in Georgia, we were concerned there that, our votes are going to be hand counted. We knew that would be something that would be very difficult for our community. So when issues are arising throughout this time, just know that we are taking a look at that. Like if there are things that are happening in your community, please reach out and let us know so that we can stay on top of those issues and be that voice for our military impacted voters.
That's incredible, Brandi. Thank you for that. And I know I was listening to the news this morning and saw that for those of you who vote in the state of Pennsylvania, that the state of Pennsylvania, the Supreme Court in that state actually just passed a very, very recent law allowing those mail-in ballots that for whatever reason, like Brandi even mentioned that one of those reasons could be your name wasn't spelled correctly, that they were rejected, that they are allowing you provisionally to come in person and to vote, which is which gives some avenue. I mean, it's not going to be possible for everyone, but it at least gives some avenue for those who are frustrated by this process to have another way to ensure their voice is heard.
Hey, so Brandi, you said a word there that I didn't quite catch. I think it was UACAVA. Can you tell me that?
Yeah, I know. I had to learn more about it myself when I came to SFI. It wasn't a phrase that I had familiarity with. So our UBCAVA voters are specifically those who are voting, who are in uniform and overseas citizens, and are doing the absentee voting. So could be electronic, or it could also be a mail-in ballot. And so, of course, we are stationed all over the world. We have members currently, even our executive director, Sarah herself, is stationed in London. Our lead researcher, Kit, is stationed in Korea. We have members calling in on our voting team from Australia. So when you think about our community, it has a lot to do with our overseas members, and the way that they vote is unique, but was established in law under the Reagan administration before I was even born. So I think that this is something that we've had a very long time, because, originally during the 80s, they were having soldiers at that time, in conflict, stop and try and get back to their hometown and vote. So if you could imagine, of course, that's not something that we can ask of our community. And so it kind of was like, well, how else can they vote?
That is bananas. I can't see our faces, but all three of us were like, huh? You were required to go home to vote.
Yeah. This is kind of the origins of this isn't actually practical for us. And we know currently we face so many hurdles as families. We're asked to do so much with the moving and finding a dentist for our children or for ourselves, trying to make sure that our car is registered. I'm just like, where am I? Where's the nearest grocery store? And then voting. It's like, oh, now it's time to vote. And so we don't want our members to feel compounded those issues and then miss out on their, opportunity to have their voice heard in our elections. And so it's just wonderful to be able to share and be a resource in this way.
You guys could not hear me laughing my head off because I was on mute because I have weird feedback today. But absolutely lost it when she was like, find your kid a dentist, because that has been at the top of my list for the last 4 months. And I even got a referral and I have not taken my kids to the dentist. But I did figure out voting. So, and you're right. We've been stationed overseas and I voted from overseas, and it is an additional challenge that can be really complicated. I know even for our service members, you've heard me talk about my husband being a submariner, some of those guys voting from the sub, that's tough, right? To get your stuff and to get your votes in. So I appreciate that you guys have the resources and the things to help navigate that, not just for the family members, but for the service members as well. Now, we talked about absentee ballots and getting them in. I know that it kind of varies by state what counting looks like as far as when it's counted and things like that. And I know one of the things that I have heard in the community is, well, if it gets too close to election day, I'm not going to send in my absentee ballot because it's not going to get counted anyway. What do you guys say about that?
Yes, send it. Please know that we encourage you to send it in. There's also steps that if you're trying to decide what's going on with my ballot, there's the FWAB, which is the federal write-in absentee ballot. This is an emergency backup ballot, specifically for our overseas voters. So if you're still trying to see where is my vote, or making sure that my vote is going to be counted, there are some built-in federal which you can access through the Federal Voting Assistance Program online. It's another really great resource. We also are part of a voting coalition that we lead at Secure Families Initiative that has 30 other MSOs and VSOs that participate in that coalition. We have lots of resources if you do start to feel that way and you need, even if you just need the encouragement. Sometimes our life, we're very isolated by the time we get to the place and now it's an election is happening. We might not have ever planned to be, and for me, it was North Carolina. And then next thing I know, election was happening. I was concerned that I packed everything, that my kids have everything that they needed, their diaper bag. And then I drove across the country and I was so happy that we had our home. And then it was oh, do you know the election's happening in exactly 15 days? Well, by then I had it myself figured, where do I vote? And then I looked down and my California driver's license was expiring that week. I hadn't been a resident in North Carolina for more than 30 days, which is that state's requirement. And so these are the issues that we want to, that's why we tackle them year round. We want to give that information, encouragement year round. We want to give that advice year round so that we don't have that last minute feelings of that panic and anxiety of that lifestyle we live, when it then adding voting to that. That's what we don't want to happen. So we've all lived this. And so I'm so thankful again to be able to share those experiences to help you hopefully not feel alone in those feelings, and to know you have a community if you need to just voice, I think this happened, even so that we can go back and we can check, we can help you.
I love want to lean into a little bit what Brandi is. I think that this is a lot of knowledge. Let me rephrase. I know this is a lot of knowledge that people aren't aware of. They feel discouraged. They feel that they don't have options, and they absolutely do, including active duty and deployed service members, which I think is a huge point that we want to recall out. But I also want to lean into the fact that we as members of the service, so you have an active duty Army spouse, an active duty Marine spouse, and an active duty Navy spouse, even in the subcategory of a submariner, who are taking steps to support these types of initiatives together. But I also want to pivot to really the civic responsibility that we have. We are already serving this country in a way that 99% of America has no idea. They cannot relate. It is not part of their lives. It is not part of their day-to-day. And so I feel personally, this is a personal opinion, caveat, personal opinion, that we also have an additional civic responsibility to be civically active in our communities and to help others be civically active and to understand how to do that. And some of that is just voicing the issues that are not voiced, which is really what Brandi is talking about, which is really what Secure Families is doing. They're listening to the issues in the community and they're bringing them forward through a nonpartisan journey that allows us to just simply have the conversations that need to be had around the issues affecting our community, which is a large community. It's over a million service members, and how many does that include?
2.6 million.
How many? Say it again.
2.6 million.
2.6 million people. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. So I would love to hear Tonya's perspective and Brandi's perspective on how we can continue to be voices of civil discourse, fostering productive, keyword productive civil discourse, and ensuring that in a nation that really media driven seems to be very divided. I feel in the neighbor to neighbor sense it is not. That's my personal experience. Others have had other experiences, but I would love to hear that perspective from the two of you.
Tonya, I would love for you to go first.
Absolutely. I will jump in on that. So Courtney, I agree. Like when we get down to the nitty gritty of it, we are not as divided and separated as we think. I've had a lot of conversations lately where that has been exactly I walk away going, we have two different ideas of how to get to the thing, but our goals are the same, right? Our desire is the same. And I think one of the things that I have really enjoyed about Secure Families Initiative is that the work that they do, that the community does there, is not just election day, and it's not just leading up to the election, right? And it's not even just about voting. Right now, that's the conversation and that's the focus because we are 10 days from election day, right? But one of the things that I've gotten to do with SFI is I got to be with them when they delivered a bill to Congress that was about supporting our service members and not blocking the promotions of the leadership that we needed in order to continue to ensure the safety and well-being of our nation's fighting forces, right? Little things like that. That's not little. Let me walk that back. That's not a little thing. That's a big thing, right? But the conversation is there day in and day out, encouraging military families across the nation to get involved in your local politics, in your local communities, and what's going on, encouraging them. No, but not just getting involved in getting involved in the local community, everything from a school board to your county board of electors, all of that, right? And in the way that SFI, at the heart of everything they do, because it's nonpartisan, the focus of it is supporting our military families and our military members to be able to use their voices and empower them. There's not a lot of organizations out there doing this work. I actually can't think of another one doing this specific work, and it's so incredibly important.
Thank you so much, Tonya. And I'll never forget the day that you were there and we delivered the petition that at that point had 500 signatures of our families who were concerned through the promotion hold. Within 8 months of that advocacy and on the ground storytelling and conveying our lifestyle, we were able to have that hold lifted, and those families were immediately promoted, and the families could then attend the schools that their children had planned, do the move that they had prepared for, and then we're sitting there without an opportunity. And so, again, that highlights the work we do at Secure Families Initiative. And two things that make us unique is that we are the only active duty family supporting and facing group. Also, for us, what makes us unique is that we center our families of color who are the most historically impacted by the issues at hand, which also represent nearly half of those who serve. We don't talk about that, but it's a large portion of our military community. And so with that in mind, when we do the work in that way, from that lens, we help all families when we win. And so it's so powerful, and I'm so proud of the work in that way. And currently, We have our caucuses of color. We would love more membership. It's our historically underserved groups. We also have our white caucus for those who are not of color, but would love to learn more about the history of their family and how we can be in solidarity so we can get to those issues and have those difficult conversations, because once we do find out we have a lot more in common. But providing a structure for those conversations to happen, I'm so thrilled that we are doing that work. And I would also say currently we know that our vote is under attack in many ways. And we have a new petition ready to go in the spirit of our original big win with the Tupperville.
Yes.
This petition is specifically for families who are military and military connected, and also families who are supportive of us and community members. Again, it takes a village. It's all of us working together to ensure that our vote is counted as military members. So our current petition is out. We are sending a letter to the chief election officer in all 50 states to urge public support for our community's right to access the ballot box. And so if you log into SFI, you can sign our petition, and we have an action coming up shortly. So stay on the lookout for that action. We would love for you to be a part of that action. Again, this is in a nonpartisan manner. It is to ensure that we are speaking to those decision makers to ensure that our voices are heard and our votes are counted.
Brandi, I would love if you could please send Tonya and I the links to how people can sign up to the caucuses. I think that's incredible. And also the petition, both of those things. I think we forget in the year of our Lord 2024, almost 2025, that these are still effective measures of change. They're still effective measures of policy. And it is actually very effective and very easy to be a part of. So I want to be able to promote those through our channels. And thank you again for being here today. I have one more softball question for all three of us to chime in on. And that is really after November 5th, which is only 10 days away. I really want to think through, Brandi talks about, she highlighted how Secure Families Initiative is year round. It's not just around an election. It is an ongoing advocacy organization for military families and the policies that are hindering them or helping them, both sides of the coin. It's also very, very positive in the things they are doing. Thank you for highlighting the work that you did around all of the promotion halts that happen through members of Congress. And I also want to talk about practically, just on the day-to-day, how our communities across the nation, really across the world, the military communities and military connected individuals, how they can continue to support one another and be civically minded within their own backyards.
I think one of the things that we can do is when we wake up on November 6th, remember that we are all still who we are, right? Reach out to those friends, those family, those loved ones. And I think it's really important for us to continue to connect and just continue conversations, right? No matter which way this election goes, I know November 6th is going to feel like a weird day for all of us, right? Totally. And so as you're navigating that election anxiety, because I know it's out there, as you're navigating all of that, when you wake up November 6th, just remember that who you are is still the same, and reach out to those people that you love that remind you of who you are and how you are still okay, right? I know who my person will be that I call, because I call them every morning to annoy the crap out of them. I hope she's listening. If she's not, she's in trouble. So I think that's step one for sure.
I love that, Tonya. And Safai, we have been sharing with our members during member calls and recent voting calls to have a plan, to be intentional when it comes to your self-care, to make sure that you feel that you are having that person. And also, we want to be that resource for you. Our Caucuses of Color will be hosting a community welcoming to everyone after that day, to kind of make, sure that we do have a way to express our feelings, share our lived experiences in this moment. I have a feeling that we're all, going to benefit from having those discussions and having a place that we know we can hold those, where we feel supported and where we feel that we are within a community and experiencing this to collectively, like Tonya said, whatever that may be, whatever the outcome may be, because we know it's very isolating being military. And so that's something we really want everyone in our community to have that plan. And keep checking our socials for an update on our community forum for that as well.
I love that. Court, your turn.
Yeah.
I would echo what both of you have said in probably a different manner. I know personally, just to probably not lovingly put myself out there, I've been super frustrated in how intense conversations are and how this or that, black or white, many discussions have been, and many times not feeling like there was a complete understanding of an issue or an understanding of a lifestyle, military being one of them, and having all the information. And so I know that I've gotten super frustrated about that, and then being reminded that people only know what they know, right? People know what they know. People know what they seek out. People know what they surround themselves with. We often create echo chambers for ourselves, and having grace for that. This is more of a do what I say and not what I do moment, because I'm really struggling with it right now. So, but trying to remind myself that, going to football practice with my kids and all the parents have different viewpoints. It doesn't make them good or bad. It makes them who they are. And that is really a struggle that I've tried to work with this year. And I also think that's being civically minded. I also think that's fostering civil discourse and understanding what being a neighbor is. And I think we often think that it's a massive lift, right? We have to run for school board, or we have to show up for a town hall, but it's also showing up to football practice and being a neighbor and being a friend. I think it's super important. Everything doesn't have to be this or that, right? It can be a collaboration of people, which is why America is wonderful, quite honestly. It's why our communities are wonderful. It's why many people serve in the military. It's not at all why I became a military spouse, but no, I'm just joking. I'm totally joking.
I don't think that's why any of us jumped into this lifestyle, but it is a valid point.
I saw a meme here. I'm going to end it on this, y'all. I saw a meme this week. That was that. Have y'all seen that picture of that emu that's like looking like with one eye and it's like crazy face, and everyone reuses it for like whatever, like the teacher reuses it talking about the students. And I saw one today that said, "You knew what you were signing up for, military spouse," and it was that photo. And I was like, if I could, if there was ever a meme that was me, it is this photo right now. So I say that to say, no, we didn't know what we were signing up for, and we still don't know what we were signing up for, because the world is ever changing, policies are ever changing, assignments are ever changing, our families are ever changing, and I want to have similar grace that I have for other military spouses and significant others in their circumstances for my neighbors. That's a long-winded answer.
Yeah.
To say where I am today.
I mean, I was saying, I agreed with you. Not, that was a long-winded answer. My bad.
Oh, appreciate
that
clarification. And with that, Brandi, thank you so much. This was so insightful. I learned actually quite a bit today that I did not know, and I thought I was pretty informed with regard to voting measures and our access. But it turns out there is a lot more out there to learn and to be informed about. And I think that is half the battle, is the knowledge.
Brandi, I am so grateful to you for joining us, for sharing the information. I think this has probably been our most useful episode so far.
Useful, definitely.
I mean, we're always a lot of fun, but like now we're like fun and also knowledge you can use. So thank you so much, so much for joining us today. It's been really great to have you.
Thank you so much, Tonya and Courtney. This is such a pleasure. And I hope to see you all at SFI. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks, Brandi. Guys, if you're listening and you're like, man, that was really fun to like hang out with Gathering Gray and like learn something, to get to laugh and like, I don't know, get some knowledge, let us know. We want to hear what else you want to hear from us and what other speakers you want to hear from. Our community is so resource rich. And when I say our community, I mean our community of military spouses and significant others. We are a community that sees an issue, sees a challenge, sees a problem, and does not back down. We find solutions. We create solutions. And so we want to make sure that we continue to bring you guys these conversations and these individuals who are doing the work day in and day out that you just may not know about yet. So if you've got a question, you've got something you want to hear more about, let us know. Make sure you're following us on social. You can shoot us an email at gatheratgray@gmail.com. And we look forward to seeing you guys next time. Have a great week.
That's a wrap on this week's episode. Thanks for joining us. And we look forward to continuing to provide a space to get real about both the challenges and the beautiful moments of living this military life. We hope you find support and, of course, some laughs. Remember to follow us on the socials and don't be afraid to join the conversation. Until next time, this is Gray.